Hey guys, so I'm back for another update on my Great Wall Hobby project, and here we have the completed Pack 44, beautifully detailed kit. Very pleased with the way it turned out. As you saw in an earlier update, I primed the gun with this Vallejo surface primer in the rope brown color to simulate the red oxide primer that late war German vehicles were painted in. Next thing I did was I put a matte varnish on this from Vallejo, and to basically seal in the primer, since I'm going to be doing some chipping effects. So this next phase, I will be spraying this worn effects fluids, not all over the model, but hopefully in just strategic places. I will probably apply 1 or 2 coats of this, and then I'll go on top of it with the final Dunkelgelb base coat, and then we'll do the chipping effects. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do from here, guys, is I'm going to let this dry for a bit, and then I'm going to apply a second coat, and then I'm going to go back with the base color. And that will take a few minutes, so I will be right back. Alright guys, so just to recap what I've done so far. So I primed the model, and then matte varnished it to protect the primer, and then I laid down actually 2 coats of this AK Interactive Worn Effects acrylic fluid. And I've let it dry. By the way, it did not take very long to dry. Both coats, between the time to spray and the adequate dry time in between applications, was maybe 35 or 40 minutes. And what I'm going to be spraying as a base color would be Vallejo Model Air 7125 Dark Yellow, or Dunkelgelb, which is the traditional Panzer yellow, or Panzer Dark Yellow. It is really, in essence, the wrong color, because the late war Dunkelgelb was actually slightly lighter, but this is all I have on hand. I thought I had the late war color, but I don't think I'm going to split that, split the hair, so to speak. I don't see that as being an issue. So I'm going to spray the base coat down, and then immediately after that we'll begin the chipping effects, and I will show you how that works. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here it is. I've got my base coat laid down with the Viejo Model Air, and I'm going to let that dry just for a few minutes, and then we will begin the chipping process. So I will be back in just a minute, guys. So alright guys, so it's time to do the chipping. You need a dish of clean water. You need a paintbrush or a cotton bud to actually get the water onto the model where you want to do the chipping effect. Now, to remove the paint, you will need something like either a toothpick or perhaps an old paintbrush that you cut the bristles back on to make them rough so that it would remove the paint. But I wanted to try this accessory. I purchased this some time ago. It's an accessory made by Jay's Works. So it's a scratches and chipping effect pin, and it's basically this wooden handle with this curved, looks almost like a dental pick on the end of it, and it is stiff, but it also has some flex to it. I thought that might give me a little more control when I do something like this. So let's go ahead and get started. So you don't want to chip the entire model. Basically, you just want to chip it where the crew may touch it, especially around rivets. It's kind of exactly the effect I was going for. Just kind of control places. You notice I'm going along the rivet lines here, just to kind of give it that, it's been used a little bit, but this thing would only have seen combat for a month or two at best. So I don't think you want to overdo it. So guys, I'm going to work on this some more, and I'll share it with you here in just a bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so guys, here it is. Here's the chipped gun, and I have to say that I'm pretty pleased with the way that it has turned out. I was also very surprised and quite pleased, actually, that this chipping effects pin from Jay's worked excuse me, as described, allowing you an excellent level of control to remove paint from where you wanted it, using it essentially like a paintbrush to get in the strategic places. And I try to do this where the crew would grab the gun, rub up. Now, I did remove, in a couple places I was a little aggressive. I'm actually going to have to go back and touch this up because it went all the way down to the gray plastic. but I don't see that as a problem. But you know, the barrel is chipped the way I wanted it to. I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out. You guys can tell me down in the comment section below. But yeah, so I'm going to let this dry a good 24 or 48 hours. Then I'm going to probably do a bit of post shade in a couple of places, and then do some washes, and maybe some minor rust effects. Once again, these guns were not going to be very old. These things only saw combat for 30, maybe 60 days, maybe 90 days total. So they weren't going to be heavily used, but I do understand that the paint schemes, these things, you know, Germany toward the end of the war was trying to churn stuff out as fast as it could, so the quality of the paint work was probably pretty shoddy, just because of they were cutting corners. But guys, let me know what you think. I'm pretty pleased with the way this has turned out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this update. And I have, by the way, my cobblestone diorama base that I'm going to be using for this, so I'm going to start working on that too very soon. And I actually hope to enter this into Scale Fest, which is coming up here toward the end of the month, which is in Grapevine, and my buddy Ian will be coming up for that. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration of the chipping technique that I used on this, and I hope everyone has a great week. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.